Hi, my name is Richardson. I'm an interpreter with the Shenandoah Valley Battlefields Foundation. I'm here today in the Shenandoah Valley Civil War Museum in Winchester, Virginia. Today I'm going to talk about one of my favorite pieces of graffiti that is here in the courthouse. This is a doodle, which is a very valuable tool for understanding soldier experience. Much like letters and diaries, graffiti like this really lets you get into their heads. There are many doodles on the second floor of the courthouse, but I find this one to be particularly interesting. It is located downstairs next to a window in the far left corner of the courtroom. This doodle appears to depict a soldier with his rifle and hat, but drawn to resemble an animal of some kind. Soldiers very often left taunting messages to each other in graffiti, and my first guess was that this was a drawing mocking a soldier of the other side. However, I wanted to try and learn more about what exactly this was supposed to be, who drew it, and why. Using a digital photograph and a computer, I carefully traced over the visible lines. With the lines darkened, two features become more apparent: a set of ears next to the hat, and a hoof holding the rifle. In my opinion, the animal that we're dealing with is a horse or a mule. This becomes much easier to see when viewed like this. The next thing that stands out is the attire. This does not look like a soldier's uniform for a couple of reasons, but I choose to focus on a different part of this graffiti. Over to the right, we can see here the distinctive lines of a failed first attempt to draw this. We can barely make out most of this one, but notice that the clothing is flared out much like a skirt. Unsurprisingly, it looks like this horse is wearing a dress. Now, we can really start to feel the level of disrespect and animosity that is on display here. Our next clue comes from the rifle, because it is being held vertically with the bayonet fixed. I think this strongly suggests that this soldier is on guard duty. One of the primary functions of the courthouse during the war was as a prison. This is the alley on the left side of the courthouse. The window next to our graffiti is the very last one on the first floor. After the Third Battle of Winchester, as many as 1,000 Confederate prisoners were held in the courthouse and on its grounds. We know this because Civil War artist James Taylor sketched it in 1864. He described the scene like this: "Within the courtyard, without the railing of which paced a cordon of guards in blue, was a mass of prisoners in gray." Our final clue is quite significant because it answers two of our initial questions. One word is written next to the doodle. The letters have some large emphasized curves, but I think that we can see that the word written here is Yank. Therefore, our artist is likely a Confederate. Standing in this spot today, you can really still see things from this soldier's point of view. I think that the graffiti being so close to the window is no accident. If you were a soldier imprisoned or hospitalized in this courtroom, this might have been your only view of the outside world. We tend to draw things that we see in the outside world. This has been true since prehistoric times. The way I understand doodles like this is that it was not simply a childish act or an insulting gesture. This was an outlet for the unimaginable amount of suffering that the war had brought. For Confederate prisoners late in 1864, it must have seemed like their entire world was collapsing around them. That is why I think this piece is so interesting, because it shows that they were no different than us. This is an act that we can relate to and understand today, and to understand their actions is to better understand these men.